Chapter 148. You are Zhonglan sect's top inner sect disciple, Li Fuchen? Xianxia looked at Li Fuchen. Without a sound, Li Fuchen's figure vanished from the hillside. When he reappeared, he was already beside Chen Fanghua. Senior Sister Chen, go to the side and take a rest. Leave this to me. He could see that Chen Fanghua was on the verge of breaking down. This was not because the other party was weak, but because Ghost Claw Xianxia was too brutal. Women generally valued their chastity more. If they couldn't even live in peace after death, it would undoubtedly make them despair. Chen Fanghua nodded. This was not the time for her to put on a brave front. Her confidence and willpower had almost been destroyed by Xianxia. You think you can save her? Xianxia grinned. His aura was like that of a devil. Just me alone is enough. Li Fuchen stated. No wonder you are the top inner sect disciple of the Zhonglan sect. So confident. But killing confident people is my favorite thing to do. I will peel off your skin and stuff it with rice straws. In my work, you will definitely be the champion. Xianxia tried to destroy Li Fuchen's willpower. Li Fuchen's face darkened. Li Fuchen sneered, Claw Ghost Xianxia, keep your little tricks. Don't use your clumsy methods to embarrass yourself. Xianxia's expression turned cold when he heard this. He realized that Li Fuchen was indeed different from the others. Li Fuchen was very calm and his eyes didn't have any flicker. There was only calmness and traces of murderous intent. Looks like he can't be underestimated. Xianxia planned to treat this seriously and not fail miserably. 3 swords. Li Fuchen had an indifferent expression as he drew his black gold sword inch by inch. Xianxia was no ordinary person. It would be nearly impossible to kill him with a single sword strike. However, he was still confident of killing him with 3 sword strikes. Xianxia laughed. He had never seen such an arrogant person before. This was simply the biggest joke in the world. The first sword. Li Fuchen drew his sword. The scarlet fire intent burst forth. The meteor sword intent burst forth. 2 great true intents intertwined, accompanied by the dark gold sword, which pierced toward Xianxia. This sword was extremely dazzling, even more dazzling than the pure meteor sword technique because it contained the scarlet fire technique intent. Quick. It was too fast. It was so fast that Xianxia couldn't dodge at all. As soon as the sword was unleashed, it was already in front of him. This was a sword that could not be avoided. This was a sword that caused Xianxia's bones to turn cold. Nether Ghost Claw. Xianxia roared and clawed at the dazzling sword light. Whoosh! The surface of the ground was torn apart. Xianxia's claw merely brushed past the sword light. As the sword light was too fast, he made a misjudgment. The searing sword light pierced through Xianxia's protective Jinqi and his demonic beast hide. Xianxia couldn't help but scream in agony. On his chest, there was a small charred hole that was half an inch deep. At the crucial moment, he activated the Heaven Fiend sect's 2-star secret technique, Devil Tattoo. This secret technique required one to carve demonic patterns on the surface of the body. These demonic patterns could strengthen the flesh and blood. Sword intent and martial intent. Xianxia was horrified. From the information he received, Li Fuchen only comprehended sword intent and didn't comprehend technique intent. If Li Fuchen had merely comprehended sword intent, he wouldn't even put it in his eyes. After all, he had also comprehended the Netherworld Claw intent and his cultivation level was 2 levels higher than Li Fuchen. How is this possible? An Origin Realm cultivator is able to cultivate a mystic class mid-tier technique to the highest rank. Xianxia didn't dare to believe it, but he had no choice. If not, there was no other way to explain the power of that sword move. Swallowing a pill, Xianxia swung his hand and shot a densely packed steel pellets at Li Fuchen. He then turned around and prepared to escape. Against a monster like Li Fuchen, Xianxia intended to escape too. This person has comprehended technique intent. I am not a match for him, but as long as I can find a safe place, I will be able to break through to the first level of the Earth Realm. Xianxia could have broken through a long time ago. But in order to enter the 100 Herbs hidden domain, he had been suppressing his cultivation level. But breaking through wasn't something that could be done on a whim. He had to find a safe place to circulate his technique to break through. Once it was interrupted, it would be easy for him to go berserk and sever his meridians. If he could instantly break through, he wouldn't need to escape. Bang, 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 bang. Li Fuchen could tell with a single glance that these steel pellets were thunderbolt pellets. They weren't weak and could easily kill a regular 9th-level Origin Realm martial artist. A pity that Li Fuchen wasn't a regular 9th-level Origin Realm martial artist. Activating his chi protection and emitting his scarlet fire intent, Li Fuchen turned into a ray of fire and chased after Xianxia. Along the way, when these steel pellets came into contact with the scarlet fire intent, they would explode in midair with less than 10% of their original power. 3 breaths later, Li Fuchen obstructed Xianxia. No matter how fast his opponent was, he wouldn't be as fast as his divine movement leg. Boom! A thick cloud of smoke diffused as Xianxia tossed out a white miasma bomb. Li Fuchen withdrew his chi protection and burst out with his chi. Huff, huff, huff. A violent gust of wind blew away the smoke. Li Fuchen obstructed Xianxia once again. Xianxia tried to put up a strong front. Li Fuchen, you better let me go. If not, you will bring trouble to your Azure Water sect. He was afraid of death too, and he wasn't willing to die in the hands of a Azure Water sect disciple. Second blade. Li Fuchen executed the second blade. This blade was activated with the mystical dragon secret technique. A horrific chi presence instantly enveloped Xianxia. Damn it. Xianxia retrieved a shield from his storage bag and placed it in front of him. Clang. Blinding sparks sprayed in all directions. Xianxia's entire body was almost crushed into the mud. Both his arms were numb and he couldn't move. Third blade. Vanishing, Li Fuchen appeared behind Xianxia and used a single blade to decapitate Xianxia. 3 blades and the fearsome claw ghost Xianxia was killed. If news of this got out, it would be enough to send the disciples of the other 3 sects into a state of panic. But this was also because Claw Ghost Xianxia was too careless. If he had found a place to break through, he wouldn't have died so easily. With Li Fuchen's ability, killing a first-level Earth Realm prodigy was extremely difficult and there was quite a bit of risk involved. This is a mystic class, low-tier shield. Picking up Xianxia's shield, Li Fuchen was surprised. Just this shield alone was worth more than 100,000 gold coins. It might even be more. After all, the quality of a shield was much heavier than a weapon, hence the price would naturally be much higher. Xianxia had a total of 2 storage bags. One was his, the other belonged to the Azure Water sect's inner sect disciple, Lu Xiaofei. Each of them had the insignia of their respective sections. After searching his body, Li Fuchen returned to look for Chen Fanghua. Li Shidi, where is Xianxia? Chen Fanghua had already returned to normal and couldn't help but ask. Dead. Li Fuchen replied. Dead. Chen Fenghua's eyes widened. Such a horrifying and insane Xianxia actually died in the hands of Li Fuchen. How strong was Li Fuchen? Could it be that Li Fuchen's ability had increased by so much during these 3 months? Taking a deep breath, Chen Fanghua tried her best to digest this information. Chapter 149. With the 2 of them together, the speed at which they searched for medicinal herbs suddenly became much faster. No matter if it was a yellow-class high-tier top-tier herb or a mystic-class herb, he wouldn't reject anything. There was also a sun in the 100 Herbs secret realm. Seeing that the sun was about to set, the 2 of them flew in the direction of Stony Mountain in the distance, intending to find a place to rest. When the sun completely set and the moon rose, the 2 of them came to a small valley. In the depths of the small valley, there was a small lake. At the lakeside, a scarlet-scaled demonic beast with a majestic demonic aura was resting. Its body was 7 to 8 meters long. It's a low-rank 3 demonic beast, the red-scaled beast. Chen Fanghua whispered. This demonic beast should be guarding some important herb. Let's search for it. Li Fuchen's eyes were like lightning, even the dim environment couldn't obstruct his vision. Soon, Li Fuchen found a herb growing in the crevice in the rubble next to the monster beast. This herb was pitch black in color, and there was a silver-gold fruit at the top. So that's how it is, it's guarding the high-rank profound rank herb, sky-shattering fruit. Li Fuchen withdrew his gaze and said, "Earth-shattering fruit?" Chen Fanghua raised her eyebrows. The value of the earth-shattering fruit was extraordinary. It could allow a 9th-level origin realm martial artist to advance to the 1st level of the earth realm faster, saving a lot of time. Furthermore, after the advancement, there would not be any signs of the true qi becoming unstable. Instead, it would slightly consolidate the cultivation. Of course, not every 9th-level origin realm martial artist could break through just by consuming the earth-shattering fruit. Normal 9th-level origin realm martial artists in the outside world had to reach the limits of the origin realm before they could break through with the help of the earth-shattering fruit. Sect disciples, on the other hand, didn't have this problem. After all, the cultivation technique that sect disciples cultivated was of a very high level, and they could easily refine the earth-shattering fruit and absorb its medicinal essence. When the red-scaled beast noticed Li Fuchen and Chen Fanghua, it stood up abruptly. A majestic demonic qi burst out from its body, causing a whirlwind to blow within the small valley, sending rocks flying everywhere. "Senior Sister Chen, stay away." Class 3 low-tier demonic beasts were very powerful and could instantly kill a regular low-leveled Earth Realm martial artist. Only those Earth Realm martial artists who cultivated mystic class cultivation techniques would be able to go against them. The mystical dragon's secret art was activated. Li Fuchen skimmed towards the red-scaled beast. Sparks appeared on the red-scaled beast's body. With a tang sound, a scarlet flame emerged. The front claw suddenly swung at Li Fuchen and a few scarlet streaks slashed at Li Fuchen. Die! Li Fuchen's body spun and dodged the scarlet-red waterfall, before striking at the red-scaled beast with lightning speed. The dazzling sword qi pierced through the scales of the red-scaled beast, leaving a bloody hole in its chest. As expected of a Class 3 demonic beast, its strongest point is its body. A Class 2 high-ranked demonic beast would have a strength of around 20,000 jin. A Class 3 low-ranked demonic beast would have a strength of at least 100,000 jin. Furthermore, depending on the type of demonic beast, the strength would be different as well. Such powerful strength caused their bodies to be extremely tough. Regular low-leveled Earth Realm martial artists wouldn't be able to break through their defenses. But Li Fuchen was different. With the activation of the mystical dragon secret technique, Li Fuchen's combat strength was almost at the 9th level of the origin realm. Coupled with the scarlet fire intent and the meteor sword intent, it was still possible to penetrate the red-scaled beast's defense. With an injury on its chest, the red-scaled beast went berserk. Its entire body was enveloped in flames as it charged towards Li Fuchen. Li Fuchen's maneuvers were extremely strange. He repeatedly dodged the red-scaled beast's attacks and left bloody holes on its body. In Chen Fanghua's eyes, the red-scaled beast was a trapped beast and its defeat was already decided. 5 minutes later, Li Fuchen's sword pierced through the red-scaled beast's left eye. The sword qi seeped in and tore apart its brain. Rumble! Like a collapsing mountain, the red-scaled beast fell heavily onto the ground. The flames on its body gradually extinguished. Cutting open the red-scaled beast's abdomen, Li Fuchen couldn't find the demon core. As for the other ingredients, he didn't even bother about them. The earth-shattering fruit will only ripen after it turns completely golden. It seems we will have to stay here for another day or two. Li Fuchen stated. Chen Fanghua nodded. No hurry. We have plenty of time anyway. After a day, her storage bag was already half filled, and there was still 6 more days before the 100 Herbs hidden domain closed. The two of them underestimated the ripening speed of the earth-shattering fruit. The next morning, as the first rays of the morning sun landed on the earth-shattering fruit, the fruit turned completely golden. An invigorating medicinal fragrance permeated throughout the entire valley. The earth-shattering fruit is ripe. Li Fuchen reached out to pluck the earth-shattering fruit. For you. Li Fuchen passed it to Chen Fanghua. For me. Chen Fanghua didn't understand. Li Fuchen replied, It isn't of much use to me. This earth-shattering fruit can only help a martial artist advance from the 9th level of the origin realm to the 1st level of the earth realm. It isn't able to help me break through from the 7th level to the 9th level of the origin realm. It will take quite some time for me to reach the 9th level of the origin realm. Why don't you consume it first? Once you progress to the 1st level of the earth realm, it will also be a great combat strength. The earth-shattering fruit and the earth-shattering domain were related. Li Fuchen didn't understand the mystery in between. Is this really a good idea? Chen Fanghua was hesitant. She naturally wanted to progress to the 1st level of the earth realm as soon as possible. Once she was at the 1st level of the earth realm, she would have the ability to protect herself and wouldn't be like her current self where she was at the bottom of the 4 sections. The 100 herbs hidden domain has countless herbs. There are still 6 more days and you might be able to obtain an earth-shattering fruit. If you don't increase your cultivation level soon, it will affect the future. Li Fuchen didn't dare to guarantee Chen Fanghua's safety. Among the disciples of the 4 sects, many of them were suppressing their cultivation level. Who knows, maybe in a few more days, a batch of 1st-level Earth Realm martial artists would appear. The many thanks. Chen Fanghua received the earth-shattering fruit. Progressing from the 9th level of the origin realm to the 1st level of the earth realm was a huge project. It required absolute silence. Chen Fanghua found a cave that could accommodate her and sat down cross-legged. A moment later, Chen Fanghua picked up the golden earth-shattering fruit and swallowed it. Time passed by slowly. From morning to noon, from noon to afternoon. Li Fuchen had been meditating by the lakeside. The 15th rank of the Scarlet Flame Mystic Technique wasn't the limit. The peak state of the 15th rank was the true limit. When that happens, the Scarlet Flame Mystic Technique's anomaly would appear and his combat ability would increase by quite a bit. As the sun set, Chen Fanghua broke through. Boom! In the valley, a violent gale blew and rocks were sent flying. A shocking spirit chi tornado gathered towards Chen Fanghua. Am I going to break through? Li Fuchen opened his eyes and looked at the cave. Within the cave, there was a huge radiance. It was the radiance of Chen Fanghua's chi. After a long time, a figure walked out from the cave. The current Chen Fanhua's chi presence wasn't just 2-fold stronger than this morning. It was at least a few-fold stronger. The surging chi was like a tidal wave, wave after wave. How do you feel? Li Fuchen laughed and asked. Very strong. I didn't know that the 1st level of the earth realm was so strong. It is as though I have been reborn. My senses towards the heaven and earth energy is much sharper now. While speaking, Chen Fanghua struck a palm strike into the air. Huff! Chapter 150. Very strong. Li Fuchen nodded. Much stronger than Claw Ghost Xianxia. When a prodigy progressed to the earth realm, it was like adding wings to a tiger. That palm force just now was enough to instantly kill a regular 1st-level earth realm martial artist. Li Shidi, is this an or? Just as Chen Fanghua was about to speak, she suddenly looked at the ground. The ground that was torn apart by the palm force had a faint metallic glow. Let me see. Li Fuchen's consciousness entered the ground along with his chi. A moment later, a water tank-sized or with a faint purple-silver glow appeared in his mind. It's a mystic class, low-tier, purple-silver ore, Li Fuchen said. Not noticing how Li Fuchen knew, Chen Fanghua revealed a delighted expression. The purple-silver ore was worth 700 contribution points per kg. If there was 1,000 kilograms, that would be 700,000 contribution points. This wasn't a small sum. Digging out the purple-silver ore, Li Fuchen weighed it and said, about 2,000 kilograms. 2,000 kilograms is 1.4 million contribution points. Chen Fanghua drew her black gold sword and split the ore with 3 consecutive slashes. One was big and one was small. The small one was only the size of a wash basin, which was around 200 to 300 kilograms. I will take the small one. You can have the extra one. Without Li Fuchen, she wouldn't have survived until now. 200 kilograms of purple-silver ore was enough. Li Fuchen laughed and didn't say anything. He kept the rest of the purple-silver ore. Even though it was getting late, the two of them still prepared to leave the valley. With their ability, they wouldn't be able to walk unhindered in the 100 herbs hidden domain. Finally, at the 1st level of the earth realm. This was a lush forest. In the middle of the forest, on a towering tree, Lu Wuhuang slowly opened his eyes. A domineering aura suddenly spread out, and within a radius of 10 meters, the wind and rain swayed, and the leaves flew everywhere. Die! A few dozen meters away, a Class 2 high-tier demonic beast got a shock and scurried out of its cave. In the next moment, a violent chi force, like an enraged dragon, opened up a path in the forest and blasted the Class 2 high-tier demonic beast, turning it into a pile of minced meat. This is the first level of the Earth realm? Lu Wang's eyes were cold and domineering. At the same time, there were plenty of people who broke through to the first level of the Earth realm. The Azure Water sect had Xiao Libi, Bai Tao, and Lin Wanqing. There were 6 in the Violent Saber sect. The Spirit Hidden sect had 6 as well. There were 8 Heaven Fiend sects. On the third day, afternoon. Yan Qingwu, you won't be able to leave the 100 Herbs secret domain alive. Why don't you have a taste of being a woman before you die? A Violent Saber sect disciple confronted Yan Qingwu. This Violent Saber sect's disciple was called Fanny Dao. The current him was already at the first level of the Earth realm. His overbearing chi presence was like a saber tornado, enveloping Yan Qingwu. You! Yan Qingwu placed her right hand on the hilt of her saber. That's right. No matter how strong you are still not my opponent. If you want to blame someone, you can only blame your monstrous aptitude. My Violent Saber sect will not allow you to live. There is a difference between humans. So what if you are at the first level of the Earth realm? Black Moon Illumination. Yan Qingwu unsheathed her blade. As compared to 4 to 5 months ago at MT Fei Shui, the current Yan Qingwu was more than twice as strong. In just a few short months, her Black Moon Saber intent had reached the stage where she could freely release it. She had also learned a 3-star secret technique, the Swallow Flight Dance. This Swallow Flight Dance could allow one's agility to be at least twice as strong as usual. Without any sound or presence, multiple Yan Qingwu appeared in midair at the same time. Using the naked eye, it was impossible to tell which was the real body and which was the clone. What kind of secret technique is this? Fanny Dao was panicking. Yan Qingwu, who had a 6-star bone frame, was someone that Fanny Dao had to take seriously. Swish! Multiple Yan Qingwu brandished their blades at the same time and slashed at Fanny Dao. Fanny Dao roared with rage. His body rotated and his blade light rotated. Cling, 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 blinding sparks exploded as multiple Yan Qingwu retreated at the same time. They then turned in midair and slashed at Fanny Dao again. 15 minutes later, Fanny Dao's back was drenched in sweat. During this time, he didn't dare to relax and used all his strength to defend against multiple Yan Qingwu's attacks. This caused his concentration to be rapidly depleted, and he even had a slight illusion that, all of a sudden, multiple Yan Qingwu combined and shot out a blade light. It was like a black moon that drew across the sky and penetrated the ground. A blade scar appeared on the ground. In the next moment, Fanny Dao's body was split into 2. Lightly landing on the ground, Yan Qingwu had a pale expression. Fanny Dao might be a regular prodigy and had yet to comprehend the saber intent, but the difference between the Earth realm and the Origin realm was too huge. Once he progressed to the first level of the Earth realm, his strength would soar. If it wasn't for her mastery of the Swallow Flight Dance, she wouldn't be a match for Fanny Dao. I have to find the earth-shattering fruit. Yan Qingwu's eyes flashed with determination. In the blink of an eye, 4 days had passed. Massacres were happening every day. Those disciples that didn't progress had become prey and none of them dared to show themselves. Damn it, if I don't progress, I will surely die inside. In a desolate mountain, Yuan Tian was extremely anxious. He was only at the 8th level of the Origin realm and had yet to comprehend sword intent. He personally witnessed a Spirit Hidden sect's disciple being killed by a Heaven Fiend sect's disciple in a single move. This gave him an intense panic. He had a 5-star bone frame and must not die in the 100 Herbs hidden domain. Yuan Shidi. Just as Yuan Tian was panicking, a familiar voice came from a small mountain not far away. Shao Shixiang. Yuan Tian's eyes lit up. Luckily I noticed you earlier. You shall follow me from now on. We shall strive to find herbs that can help you advance in your cultivation level. Xiao Libi said. Many thanks, Xiao Shixiang. Yuan Tian was sincerely grateful to Xiao Libi. He could see that Xiao Libi had progressed to the first level of the Earth realm. With Xiao Libi's protection, his safety was guaranteed. Xiao Libi said, disciples of the same sect should help each other. He wanted to gather everyone from the Azure Water sect. It was too dangerous to move alone, even if he was already at the first level of the Earth realm. 10 miles away from the desolate mountain, Li Fuchen and Qin Fanghua met the violent saber sect's Blood Saber Ling Huang. Blood Saber Ling Huang had already progressed to the first level of the Earth realm and was much stronger than Qin Fanghua. In between the two of them was a stalk of herb that was emitting a dense spirit qi. Mystic class, mid-tier herb, origin return herb. This herb could allow an origin realm martial artist to advance by one level without any side effects. It was no different from using one's own strength to advance. I can see that you really want this herb. A pity that I will not give you the chance. Blood Saber Ling Huang grinned and stared at Li Fuchen and Qin Fanghua like he was looking at his prey. Li Shidi, I will hold him back. Once you get the origin return herb, run. Qin Fanghua said. Chapter 151. They were all at the first level of the Earth realm, but Qin Fanghua was definitely at the bottom. Unless she comprehended sword intent, she wouldn't be a match for Blood Saber Ling Huang. If she was to stall Ling Huang, it would be sending her to her death. But Qin Fanghua was extremely anxious. Li Fuchen was only at the 7th level of the origin realm and was at a disadvantage in terms of cultivation. No buts. Do you think that I have displayed my full strength? Li Fuchen replied. Be it when he was dealing with the claw ghost Xianxia or the red-scaled beast, Li Fuchen had only used a little bit of his full ability. He wasn't sure of his true ability either, because he had never met anyone that could force him to go all out. Blood Saber Ling Huang was indeed strong, but it was not impossible to resist. Hearing this, Qin Fanghua could only choose to believe in Li Fuchen. Take this shield with you. Li Fuchen retrieved the mystic class, low-tier shield from Claw Ghost Xianxia and handed it over to Qin Fanghua. Without a shield, Qin Fanghua could be severely injured or even killed instantly by Blood Knife Ling Huang. After taking the shield, Qin Fanghua did not say anything else. This time, she had decided that even if she died in battle, she would not retreat, and she would not be timid. 2 ants actually want to contend against me? What a joke! Blood Saber Ling Huang saw all of this and revealed a disdainful sneer. In his eyes, be it Qin Fanghua who was at the first level of the Earth realm or Li Fuchen who was at the 7th level of the origin realm, they were all ants. Especially the latter. A mere 7th level origin realm martial artist actually acted like an expert. It was hilarious. I don't have time to waste with you. Both of you go to hell. Ling Huang pulled out the long knife at his waist. This was a blood-red long saber, named Blood Drinker. It was a middle mystic rank treasure saber that the violent saber sect had specially bestowed upon Ling Huang. It was as famous as Mad Saber Duan Hai's 100 Battle Saber. As for the other disciples of the violent saber sect, they were using standard mystic class mid-tier treasured sabers. Unsheathing the blood-imbibing saber, Ling Huang casually slashed at Qin Fanghua and Li Fuchen. A scarlet light shone brightly in the void. Boundless saber chi seemed to tear the sky apart as it slashed towards the two. We can't block it. That was Qin Fanghua's only thought. Raising the mystic class, low-tier shield that Li Fuchen gave her, Qin Fanghua stood in front of her. Clang. When the saber chi collided with the shield, Qin Fanghua felt a huge force pass through her. Her body felt like it was struck by lightning, and she vomited a mouthful of blood. In the next moment he was sent flying. Kacha! A hideous crack appeared on the ground, and wisps of saber chi seeped out from the crack. Ling Huang looked at Li Fuchen on the left with some astonishment. In that instant earlier, Li Fuchen's figure suddenly vanished and dodged the saber chi. When he reappeared, he was already at the left side of Li Fuchen. Meteor fall. The mystical dragon secret technique was activated and a large amount of scarlet fire true qi was transformed into mystical dragon true qi. The scarlet fire qi at the 15th rank was already extremely valiant. After transforming into mystical dragon qi, the qi was extremely condensed and mystical. It was like a magma snake that flowed within Li Fuchen's meridians. With a thought, the mystical dragon qi was poured into the black gold sword. Li Fuchen thrusted at Ling Huang. The horrific scarlet fire intent and meteor sword intent interweaved and exploded, increasing the sword presence. Not good. Seeing this sword, Ling Huang's scalp went numb. This sword was too fast. It was not a speed that could be achieved by a low-tier profound class sword art. Heart-twisting finger. There was no time to use his saber to block. Ling Huang only had time to lift his left hand and used his index and middle fingers that were covered with a layer of viscous qi to clamp the black gold sword. Ling Huang's two fingers that could crush snow silver iron had yet to even touch the black gold sword. His qi was already destroyed by the sword qi of the black gold sword. Immediately after, the bones of his two fingers were twisted like two fried dough twists. But this finger also caused Li Fuchen's sword speed to slow down by 30%. Ling Huang let out a low growl and slightly tilted his body, cleaving at the black gold sword. The ground split open, sword qi and saber qi shot in all directions. Li Fuchen was sent flying over a dozen meters, while Ling Huang took 7 or 8 steps back. Myriad Blossom Sword Style. Unknowingly, Chen Fanghua appeared behind Ling Huang. With a swing of her sword, countless sword lights bloomed like plum blossoms, shrouding Ling Huang. Get lost! Bursting with killing intent, Ling Huang didn't even turn his head and swung his saber behind him. Layers of blood-colored saber shadows were like waves, instantly breaking Chen Fanghua's myriad blossom sword style. The remaining saber qi sent Chen Fanghua flying. PFFF, PFFF, PFFF. 3 blood flowers bloomed on Ling Huang's back. Ling Huang was injured by Li Fuchen after all. His spirit and saber arts weren't as tight as before, and with the underestimation, he had to pay a price. Meteor Rain. The moment Chen Fanghua made her move, Li Fuchen quickly rose into the air. The black gold sword in his hand released endless radiance and flames as he swung it down. Gorgeous. Incomparably gorgeous. Countless meteors descended from the sky, like a meteor shower, piercing through the void. This move was created by Li Fuchen. After absorbing a large amount of sword Dao essence, Li Fuchen's meteor sword intent had a new transformation. A few months ago, he created the second move of the meteor sword style. This move was an area of effect attack, but every sword qi was perfect and had almost no flaws. It displayed the power and beauty to the limits of a mystic class, low-tier sword art. It even surpassed this limit. Ling Huang's reaction was half a beat slower. When he regained his senses, the sword qi was already at his body. Boom! An earth realm qi burst out, like a rapidly expanding bubble, trying to block the sword qi. Most of the sword qi were repelled by the qi protection. But qi protection wasn't flawless. According to the structure of the human body, some parts of the qi protection would be weaker. Dozens of sword qi pierced through the weak spots, leaving behind small blood holes on Ling Huang's body. Both of you must die, both of you must die. Ling Huang's eyes were blood red. Even during the intense battle with Mad Saber Duan Hai, he only suffered light injuries. He didn't expect that he would be continuously injured by these two ants. This was something that he couldn't accept as he thought highly of himself. He is still at the first level of the Earth realm after all. Li Fuchen felt it was a pity. Ah, Ling Huang, you actually got injured by these two ants. What a surprise. 1,000 meters away, a figure flew over at extreme speed. It was obviously the other prodigy that the violent saber sect had to pay attention to, Shenfeihe. Li Shidi, let me help you. Luckily, the Azure Water sect sent people over too. It was Xiao Libi and Yuan Tian. Earth realm martial artists were very sensitive to heaven and earth energy. As long as they weren't too far away, they could easily sense which direction there was an explosion of energy. Xiao Shixiang. Chen Fanghua let out a look of delight. With Xiao Shixiang around, they might not lose. At least they wouldn't be tortured to death. After a few breaths, the reinforcements from both sides arrived. On one side were the 4 from the Azure Water sect: Li Fuchen, Xiao Libi, Chen Fanghua, and Yuan Tian. On the other side were the 2 from the Violent Saber sect, Ling Huang and Shen Feihe. Both sides were glaring at each other. The atmosphere was extremely tense. Chapter 152. Both sides stood in a stalemate, neither of them making the first move. Although there were only 2 people from the Violent Saber sect, they were disciples that the great elder Zhao Wujin had asked them to pay attention to. The reason why Ling Huang and Shen Feihe didn't make the first move was because the Zhonglan sect had 4 members. 2 of them were at the 1st level of the Earth realm, and 1 of them was only at the 7th level of the Origin realm. But he was the top inner sect disciple of the Zhonglan sect and even injured Ling Huang. Killing intent flashed in Shen Feihe's eyes as he prepared to make his move. Hee, it's so lively here. On a tree not far away, an enchanting woman appeared out of nowhere. The woman's clothes fluttered in the wind. Her figure was dreamy and illusory. She seemed to be a real existence, but at the same time, she seemed like a mist. Ghost Girl Yihua. Everyone's pupils constricted, including Blood Blade Ling Huang. Illusions are an unfamiliar domain to them. Facing an unfamiliar domain, they would always feel nervous. Once they fall for it, they might be consigned to eternal damnation. Don't look at her. Li Fuchen reminded the Chen Fanghua trio. With his powerful soul, he could clearly sense a strange ripple coming from Ghost Girl Yihua's body. The ripple was extremely evil, and if one were to stare at it for a long time, they would start hallucinating. Her silhouette turned into mist and dissipated. When she reappeared, Ghost Girl Yihua was already near the group. She stretched out her hand and twirled her long hair in a flirtatious manner. Everyone felt as if they could hear the sound of giggles ringing in their ears. Ling Huang, Shen Feihe, why don't the 3 of us work together and get rid of the Azure Water sect first? Yihua suggested. Shen Feihe frowned. Do you think I'll believe you? Cooperating with this kind of person who was proficient in illusions was no different from asking a tiger for its skin. Once he was betrayed, he wouldn't be able to turn things around. In short, he didn't trust Yihua. Count yourselves lucky. Let's go. Ling Huang also did not trust Yihua. He was injured now, and there was a hole in his heart. It was not suitable for him to interact with Yihua. Otherwise, he would consider this matter. With that, Ling Huang and Shen Feihe turned and left. Ghost Girl Yihua spread her hands with a helpless expression. Since they don't want to play, why don't we play? Even though she was alone, it was as though she was the owner of this place and wasn't afraid of Li Fuchen's group of 4. Scram! Li Fuchen's eyes glowed with a blue light with a hint of green. An extremely penetrating chi presence rushed towards Ghost Girl Yihua. With a pale face, Ghost Girl Yihua took a step back and looked at Li Fuchen in astonishment. Interesting. Her expression became much more solemn. It was obvious that Li Fuchen's spirit will was extremely powerful. The chi presence that he emitted was extremely lethal and was able to intimidate her spirit will. Once her willpower was suppressed, the power of her illusions would be greatly reduced. We'll meet again soon. A gust of wind blew past, and Ghost Girl Yihua's figure disappeared along with the wind. This was not a top-notch qigong, but a visual illusion. But in Li Fuchen's eyes, Ghost Girl Yihua was just using a smokescreen. The real her had already left a moment ago. What a powerful illusion! Xiao Libi's voice was heavy. Among the 4 sects, the Heaven Fiend sect was the strongest, the Spirit Hidden sect was the most bizarre, and the Violent Saber sect was the most unrestrained. But in comparison, the Azure Water sect was more fearful of the Heaven Fiend sect and Spirit Hidden sect. She's already gone, don't worry. Li Fuchen extended his hand and sucked the Origin Return herb into his palm along with the soil. Li Shidi, the 3 of us will protect you. Quickly refine the Origin Return herb and increase your cultivation to the 8th level of the Origin realm. Xiao Libi knew clearly that the reason why Ghost Girl Yihua left was because she was fearful of Li Fuchen. If it wasn't for Li Fuchen, the three of them wouldn't have been able to escape from Ghost Girl Yi Hua's illusion technique. So the priority now was to increase Li Fuchen's cultivation. Li Fuchen nodded and sat down. After the Scarlet Flame Mystic technique completed a few cycles, he consumed the Origin Return Herb. The Origin Return Herb melted in his mouth, and an extremely pure energy dispersed into his limbs and bones. No wonder it can increase one cultivation level without any side effects. Li Fuchen understood in his heart. The purity of the spirit qi in the elemental Guiyuan grass was not much inferior to his scarlet fire true qi. Furthermore, it contained a very mysterious power that could nourish one's soul. It would not cause one's state of mind to be unable to keep up with the speed of cultivation. Late stage of the 7th level of the Origin Realm. Peak stage of the 7th level of the Origin Realm. 8th level of the Origin Realm. Boom! A majestic spirit qi tornado gathered towards Li Fuchen. What a shocking spirit qi wave! Chen Fanghua was shocked. When she broke through to the 1st level of the Earth Realm, the commotion she caused was only slightly bigger than Li Fuchen. She didn't expect Li Fuchen to cause such a huge commotion when he broke through to the 8th level of the Origin Realm. What kind of scene would it be when he breaks through to the 1st level of the Earth Realm? Li Shidi's perception is simply earth-shattering. To be able to break through to the highest 15th rank of the Scarlet Flame Mystic technique so quickly. Previously, Xiao Libi was curious as to why Li Fuchen was so strong. Now he finally knew the secret behind Li Fuchen's prowess. The Scarlet Fire intent was a mystic class, mid-tier intent. It was much stronger than a mystic class, low-tier intent. Coupled with Li Fuchen's superb meteor sword intent, it was like adding wings to a tiger. Compared to Chen Fanghua and Xiao Libi, Yuan Tian had a much more complicated thought. If he still treated Li Fuchen as a normal person, then he would be a fool. Li Fuchen may look like a normal bone frame, but he had already surpassed the limits of a normal person. Perhaps his innate talent couldn't even be detected by a regular bone frame stone. After all, this world was too big. It was normal for unexplainable phenomena to occur. On the path of martial arts, one could only be described as a legend. Such a formidable feeling. Now that his cultivation had broken through to the 8th level of the Origin Realm, the density and purity of Li Fuchen's qi had increased by at least 30%. With a 30% increase in one's basic ability, it was equivalent to a 30% increase in one's overall ability. It was equivalent to stacking a 2-star secret technique that increased one's overall ability. With a palm strike, the vigorous and violent palm force was like a raging python. It rolled forward and tore a hole in the ground. Now that I have met Blood Saber Ling Huang, I can totally go head-on against him. Li Fuchen thought to himself. Li Shidi, congratulations. Xiao Libi walked over and cupped his fist. Li Fuchen replied, thank you for protecting me. Without the three of them to protect him, he wouldn't have dared to break through so openly. Li Shidi, since you have broken through, then let us continue to search for herbs. Who knows, we might be able to find another Origin Return herb or even an earth-shattering fruit. Chen Fanghua said. The stronger Li Fuchen's ability was, the safer their Zhonglan sect disciples would be. It was imaginable that the last 2 days of the 100 Herbs hidden domain would be the decisive battle. By then, the clash between the various sects would be even more horrific. Their Zhonglan sect needed a leader. And this leader had to be Li Fuchen, no one else could do it. Qin Shidi is right. Our top priority now is to find the Origin Return herb and earth-shattering fruit. Xiao Libi nodded. Chapter 153. Die. The sword qi was like a hot knife through butter, splitting open the body of a violent saber sect's disciple. Dominion sword Lu Wuhuang. Within the 100 Herbs hidden domain, he was definitely a top-notch expert. There were only a few who were stronger than him. Just as Lu Wuhuang was about to pick up his opponent's storage bag, his eyes suddenly shrunk as cold sweat dripped down his forehead. Behind him, on a tree that was a few tens of meters away, a figure was standing there. This figure was very quiet and didn't speak a single word. But it gave off an oppressive feeling as though a storm was coming. Mad Saber Duan Hai, the most reputable inner sect disciple of the Violent Saber sect. Of course, the current him was already at the first level of the Earth realm. Duan Hai's looks were average and his eyes were drooping. He lowered his eyes, staring at his 100-battle saber, and didn't look at Lu Wuhuang. Lu Wuhuang didn't dare to pick up the storage bag and slowly turned around. Mad Saber Duan Hai. Lu Wuhuang said word by word. How about I chop you into 18 pieces? Duan Hai said slowly. I'm afraid you can't do it. Lu Wuhuang might be fearful of Duan Hai, but he was still a top-notch prodigy. How could he be pressured by his opponent's spirit will? 19 pieces it is then. Duan Hai moved. Like a puppet, Duan Hai's body movements were very stiff. But his speed was unbelievably fast. In a flash, he was already in front of Lu Wuhuang. It was a hair-raising sight. Clang. Lu Wuhuang didn't even see Duan Hai's saber. Based on his intuition, he swung his sword to block. Blinding sparks burst forth. Soon after, there were even more sparks. So fast. Lu Wuhuang was in a predicament. Duan Hai's saber was too fast, so fast that he couldn't retaliate. He could only block, and block again. No, I must retaliate. Lu Wuhuang let out an enraged roar as his battle chi exploded. His chi presence soared into the sky and enveloped Mad Saber Duan Hai. Boom! An even stronger chi presence rose and tore Lu Wuhuang's chi presence apart. Lu Wuhuang's shoulder had a wound of blood. Another wound appeared on his leg, chest, and abdomen. In a few breaths' time, 7 to 8 bloody wounds appeared on Lu Wuhuang's body. If not for the fact that Lu Wuhuang had already activated the 2-star secret technique, it wouldn't be as simple as having a bloody wound on his body. His stomach would have definitely been split open, and his flesh and blood would have flown everywhere. Damn it, why am I, Lu Wuhuang, so weak? Lu Wuhuang roared in his heart. He hated himself for being weak. At this moment, he suddenly recalled about Li Fuchen. If Li Fuchen was here, how would he deal with Mad Saber Duan Hai? But soon enough, Lu Wuhuang got rid of this ridiculous thought. Li Fuchen's combat ability was strong at the same cultivation realm, but his cultivation level was still too low. He wasn't a match for the first-level Earth realm Mad Saber Duan Hai. A few more wounds appeared on his body. Lu Wuhuang retreated. He quickly retreated. If this went on, he would be chopped into a human stick by Duan Hai. The two of them moved as fast as a whirlwind, one chasing and the other escaping. Senior brother Lu will help you. White Water Sword by Tao and Lin Wanqing sensed the Yuan Qi fluctuations. The two of them, one on the left and one on the right, charged towards Mad Blade Duan Hai. Seeing the situation, Lu Wuhuang got excited and turned around to counterattack. 3 men and 3 swords. The sword chi was like an inescapable net, impenetrable. If it was any other top-tier prodigy, they would have died under the sword chi slashes. Ding 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 ding. But Duan Hai's ability was much stronger than what they imagined. Even with the 3 of them working together, they weren't able to break through Duan Hai's saber net and could only slightly suppress him. Too strong. After a long battle, Bai Tao and Lin Wanqing were shocked. In this trip to the 100 Herbs hidden domain, the disciples from the 3 sects obviously had the upper hand over the Azure Water sect. Even Lu Wuhuang had to admit it. Duan Xixiang, we are here to help you too. In just a short moment, the Violent Saber sect's men arrived. 2 of them were at the 1st level of the Earth realm and 1 was at the 9th level of the Origin realm. The tables were turned. All of you move to the side. A voice filled with hostility could be heard. Duan Hai actually wanted to fight against Lu Wuhuang's group by himself. Hearing this, the 3 Violent Saber sect disciples who were about to join in the battle were helpless. They didn't dare to go against Duan Hai. Forget it. We will hold the line at the side. One of the Violent Saber sect disciples, who was at the 1st level of the Earth realm, said calmly. This is the only way. The 3 of them observed the battle from afar, like tigers eyeing their prey. Dozens of miles away, Li Fuchen and his group were searching for herbs. Not only did Li Fuchen need the Origin Return herb, Yuan Tian needed it too. Of course, the first stalk of Origin Return herb would definitely belong to Li Fuchen, Yuan Tian would have to move to the back. Yuan Tian didn't have any objections. It didn't matter if he admitted it or not, Li Fuchen was 10 times more useful than him. Only by relying on Li Fuchen could they go against the other 3 sections. There will be opportunities in the future. Yuan Tian clenched his fist tightly. In the past, his vision was limited to the Azure Water sect, and he thought it was great to have a 5-star bone frame. But after witnessing the prodigies from the other 3 sects, his desire to become stronger was 10 times stronger than before. At this moment, his opponent wasn't just Li Fuchen or the other prodigies from the Azure Water sect, but also the prodigies from the other 3 sections. One day, he would step on everyone. Stalks after stalk of mystic-class herbs were found, but a pity that none of them were origin-return herbs and the earth-shattering fruits. The origin-return herbs and earth-shattering fruits were already extinct in the outside world. They were obviously rare in the 100 Herbs hidden domain too. It seems like Lu Wuhuang is in front. Is he being pursued? Keeping a stalk of mystic-class herb, Xiao Libi raised his head and suddenly frowned. A few thousand meters away, Lu Wuhuang was in a sorry state and was covered in blood. Behind him were 4 violent Saber sect disciples led by Mad Saber Duan Hai and 3 Heaven Fiend sect disciples led by Li Wuxia. A total of 7 people were pursuing Lu Wuhuang. It wasn't easy for Lu Wuhuang to survive. Originally, the 3 of them would have been able to suppress Mad Saber Duan Hai. Under Duan Hai's orders, the other 3 violent Saber sect disciples didn't dare to participate in the battle. A pity that Lu Wuhuang and the other 2 were unlucky. It just so happened that Li Wuxia and the other 2 were nearby. After sensing the energy wave, they rushed over. Others might be afraid of Duan Hai, but Li Wuxia wasn't. Of course, Li Wuxia didn't attack Duan Hai either. Instead, he helped Duan Hai to eliminate the Azure Water sect. Under the attacks of the duo, Bai Tao and Lin Wanqing died tragically on the spot. Lu Wuhuang used all his strength and barely managed to escape. But he wouldn't be able to escape for long. The blood on his body was almost drained and he didn't have any time to rest. Hurry up and go. Xiao Libi drew his sword and swiftly went to rescue Lu Wuhuang. Lu Wuhuang noticed Xiao Libi and the others too and flew over. Let's begin. Activating the mystical dragon secret technique and the divine movement leg, Li Fuchen's speed was much faster than Xiao Libi. Lu Wuhuang, they won't be able to rescue you in time. That Li Wuxia's weapon was a blood-colored spear. As the spear spun, it was like a blood-colored dragon that drilled towards Lu Wuhuang. Lu Wuhuang was unwilling and let out a silent roar. Just as the spear tip was about to hit Lu Wuhuang. Ding! A black gold sword blocked the spear tip. Go back. Chapter 154. Li Fuchen. Lu Wuhuang opened his mouth and couldn't believe his own eyes. Li Fuchen actually repelled Li Wuxia with a single blade. Could he have progressed to the first level of the Earth realm? Taking a closer look, he didn't. He who had already lost a lot of blood was now feeling even more dizzy. Lu Shidi, are you all right? Xiao Libi rushed over and inquired. I am fine. Many thanks for the rescue. For Lu Wuhuang to say the word rescue, it was imaginable how he was feeling right now. After repelling Li Wuxia with a single blade, Li Fuchen was like a mountain, blocking the path of Duan Hai and Li Wuxia. It didn't matter what conflict he had with Lu Wuhuang in the Azure Water sect. In the 100 Herbs hidden domain, they were a team bound together for glory and for loss. Impossible! Li Wuxia's first reaction was that it was impossible. He wasn't a regular first-level Earth Realm martial artist, he was a prodigy from the Heaven Fiend sect. A regular first-level Earth Realm martial artist wasn't even fit to carry his shoes. The deranged Duan Hai finally had a glimmer of humanity in his eyes. There was shock, murderous intent, and battle intent. He actually blocked Li Shixiang's spear. What kind of god is this Li Fuchen? How can a mere Azure Water sect have such a fearsome individual? The violent Saber sect and Heaven Fiend sect disciples behind Duan Hai and Li Wuxia were all shocked. They couldn't imagine how Li Fuchen did it. Unknowingly, their perception of being a monster had been subverted. No matter how much of a monster they were, Could they be more of a monster than Li Fuchen? Using the 8th level of the Origin Realm to withstand a single attack from Li Wuxia, who was at the 1st level of the Earth Realm? Kill him. We must kill him. This man is too much of a monster. The Violent Saber sect and Heaven Fiend sect disciples exploded with murderous intent. Hee, the Azure Water sect's men are almost all here, right? Just nice, we can kill them all at once. Li Wuxia tried his best to suppress his jealousy as he let out a sinister laugh. Duan Hai didn't speak, but his eyes betrayed him. The bloodthirsty him enjoyed the feeling of cleaving an enemy with a single blade. Killing a monster like Li Fuchen should feel great. 5 1st-level Earth Realm and 2 9th-level Origin Realm. The situation isn't looking good. Chen Fenghua thought in her heart. Li Shidi, think of a way to kill your way out. Xiao Libi transmitted a message to Li Fuchen. Li Fuchen shook his head. How could he escape with the 7 of them eyeing him? If he really wanted to escape, he would probably be the only one who could. Just 7 of them. If they want to kill us, all of them will have to be buried with us. Li Fuchen's voice was very calm, so calm that it was excessive. It seemed that even if the heavens fell and the earth cracked, his emotions would not fluctuate. It was just that the disdain and killing intent in that calm tone caused the Violent Saber sect and Heaven Fiend sect disciples to feel a chill in their hearts. They felt a chill in their bones and they couldn't help but shiver. For a moment, the air seemed to freeze, and neither side made a sound. Mad Saber Duan Hai was the first to speak. How was this a human's voice? It was more like the roar of a beast, tyrannical and cruel, without a trace of emotion. Wielding the saber with both hands, Duan Hai cleaved at Li Fuchen. Duan Hai, your name is Mad Saber. Then I shall make you truly mad. Li Fuchen thrusted his sword at the tip of his opponent's saber. Ding! The violent saber chi and sword chi crisscrossed and swam along the ground. Duan Hai, I shall leave him to you. I shall go kill the others. Li Wuxia's figure flashed as he charged at Xiao Libi and the others. Your opponent is me too. Executing the shadowless leg to the limits, Li Fuchen intercepted Li Wuxia and thrusted with his sword. You want to fight me and Duan Hai by yourself? Li Wuxia retreated pathetically with a face of anger. He felt that he was being belittled. Meteor sword rain. Li Fuchen didn't reply. The black gold sword in his hand vibrated in midair, as an area of effect sword move engulfed Duan Hai and Li Wuxia. Countless streaks of sword chi shot out like meteors. Li Wuxia couldn't even escape and used his spear to block. Duan Hai brandished his 100-battle saber and formed a tight saber net that formed an impenetrable sphere. But Li Fuchen wasn't interested in this. His meteor sword rain's true target was the rest of the Violent Saber sect and Heaven Fiend sect disciples. 2 Violent Saber sect disciples and 1 Heaven Fiend sect disciple died on the spot. How perfect was the meteor sword rain? It wasn't something that a regular mystic class, low-tier sword move could compare with. As long as there was a flaw, it would be exploited. Blood Saber Ling Huang was a living example. The battle had just begun and only 4 of the 7 were left. Even if the situation wasn't reversed, it was close. You guys kill the other 2. Don't tell me you can't do it. Even if you can't do it, you better do it. Lu Wuhuang, if you aren't dead yet, you go and attack too. At this moment, Li Fuchen couldn't be bothered anymore and immediately gave the order. Li Shidi is going against the heavens. Xiao Libi was shocked. Li Fuchen, don't be too arrogant. Duan Hai, kill him together. Li Wuxia was about to go insane, as this was a blatant slap to his face. Bang, 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 bang. In an instant, everyone was split into 2 battlefields. One was Li Fuchen against Duan Hai and Li Wuxia, while the other was Xiao Libi's group against a Violent Saber sect disciple and a Heaven Fiend sect disciple. Fighting 1 against 2, Li Fuchen was having a hard time. Apart from the surprise attack at the start, he was in a suppressed state for the majority of the time. Had it not been for his incredible maneuvering skills, he would have died a long time ago. Kill! 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 Every time Duan Hai uttered the word kill, his saber presence would increase by a notch. Towards the end, the saber presence was like a torrential storm, like a raging wave, almost drowning Li Fuchen. Li Wushue's spear presence might not be as violent as Duan Hai's, but it was very condensed. Every spear thrust was like a venomous dragon emerging from the sea. The spearhead contained a shocking rotational penetrative force. This is what a true battle is, a battle to my heart's content. Li Fuchen's battle intent was surging like a god of war, killing in and out of between Duan Hai and Li Wuxia. His battle awareness is too strong. Duan Hai, let me restrain him. The more they fought, the more Li Wuxia felt how strong Li Fuchen's battle awareness was. Li Fuchen's combat strength was obviously on par with his, but even with Duan Hai's collaboration, they weren't able to take him down within a short period of time. Voila! The blood-colored spear fell off and split into 3 segments, with each segment being connected by a metal chain. The 3-segment spear could be hard or soft, entangled or struck. Blood Dragon Binding Moon. Li Wuxia burst out with a yell. The 3-segment spear moved like a blood dragon, coiling towards Li Fuchen. Mad Demon 28/. Duan Hai wasn't truly insane, he was just immersed in his own world. Seeing that Li Fuchen was restricted in a certain area, he immediately executed his most fearsome Mad Demon saber style. The twisted saber light was chaotic, cleaving towards Li Fuchen's face. Cling 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 cling. The meteor sword style in Li Fuchen's hands had long surpassed its original limits. After deflecting the 3-segment spear, a stream of light burst forth, welcoming Duan Hai's Mad Demon saber style. Return to Dragon-Gazing Moon, die. The 3-segment spear spun around his body, and with a large amount of chi pouring in, the 6-feet-long 3-segment spear was shot straight at Li Fuchen. But Li Fuchen was currently in an intense battle with Duan Hai. The intense danger caused Li Fuchen's entire body to feel as though it was being electrocuted, numbing him from the inside out. But it was also because of this extremely severe and bloody danger that Li Fuchen's extraordinary potential was finally stimulated. The already dreadful scarlet fire intent suddenly burst forth. An illusory furnace appeared above Li Fuchen's head. The furnace and chi presence combined together, causing Duan Hai and Li Wuxia to feel as though they were in a blazing hell. Every move they made was greatly disrupted. Chapter 155. With the support of the furnace anomaly, Li Fuchen's Scarlet Fire Chi and Scarlet Fire Technique intent reached the next level. With a half-turn, countless streams of light were emitted, breaking Duan Hai's Mad Demon Saber style and Li Wuxia's Blood Dragon Spear style. Damn it, his Scarlet Flame Mystic Technique actually produced an anomaly. Li Wuxia was filled with jealousy. He, the young master of the Heaven Fiend sect, had only cultivated the Blood Fiend Mystic Technique to the 14th rank, not even reaching the 15th rank. But Li Fuchen didn't just reach the 15th rank, he was now at the peak of the 15th rank. What was the peak? It was naturally impossible to advance any further. If he could cultivate the Blood Fiend Mystic Technique to the peak of the 15th rank, he wouldn't even need to make a move, he could just burst forth with his chi and kill all the disciples from the 3 sections. Which was why he was extremely jealous of Li Fuchen's perception. Jealous that he didn't have such a perception. Jealousy ignited his murderous intent. He wouldn't allow such a monster to exist. In this world, it was enough as long as there was only him, Li Wuxia. Yan Qingwu was also a monster, but she was destined to become his wife. When that time comes, he would ask his father to plant an evil chi seed in her body. With the help of the evil chi seed, he could easily control her. In his opinion, as long as it was a monster, it would either be controlled or destroyed. There was no other choice. Li Fuchen, you must die. Li Wuxia's face was twisted like a ghost. The 3-segment spear joined together to form a blood-colored spear, thrusting at Li Fuchen. Mad Saber Duan Hai was getting more and more frenzied, forgetting everything else. This is what a battle is. Why can't it be more intense? Li Fuchen's blood was almost boiling and boiling. The intense battle intent, the incisive sword intent, and the blazing technique intent were all intertwined and burst out, clashing with Duan Hai's saber intent and Li Wuxia's spear intent. At this moment, the area within 10 meters of the trio had turned into a death zone. Anyone who entered would immediately be turned into a blood mist by the Qi forces, leaving nothing behind. Due to the intense clash of spirit will and martial Dao intent, this area was a forbidden illusion zone. Whoever dared to execute illusion techniques here would definitely be killed by the backlash. These three battle maniacs, Xiao Libi and the others, would look at Li Fuchen from time to time. Apart from gasping for cold air, there was nothing else they could do to alleviate the shock in their hearts. Compared to the Azure Water sect's disciples, the Violent Saber sects and Heaven Fiend sect's disciples were wondering if they were dreaming. Mad Blade Duan Hai and Blood Fiend Li Wuxia, these two extremely savage people, were actually blocked by a single person. And this person had the nickname of Sword Demon in the Azure Water sect. At first, no one paid much attention to this title. But now, they deeply understood what a sword fiend was. Boom! The saber, spear, and sword collided with each other, causing a deafening explosion. The three of them were sent flying back. The only difference was that Duan Hai and Li Wuxia were unconsciously retreating. Li Fuchen was consciously retreating. Poo-pew! The sound of a blade piercing through flesh could be heard. The Violent Saber sects and Heaven Fiend sects disciples who were in an intense battle with Xiao Libi's group perished in an instant. Li Fuchen reached out to absorb their storage bags and shouted, "Let's go!" Everything had happened too suddenly. Not to mention that the Violent Saber sect and Heaven Fiend sect disciples who were killed could not react in time. Xiao Libi and the others couldn't react in time either. But Li Fuchen's current prestige was too great. The four of them subconsciously followed Li Fuchen and sprinted. Duan Hai and Li Wuxia only reacted now, but it was already too late. The clash earlier was too intense. The two of them were sent flying dozens of meters away. By the time they regained control of their bodies, Li Fuchen and the others were already 200 meters away. B** starred. Even though he didn't know why Li Fuchen suddenly escaped, Li Wuxia was infuriated. Li Fuchen coming and going as he pleased made him feel extremely vexed. Just as he was about to give chase, the sound of wind breaking could be heard from the back. In an instant, Li Wuxia understood everything. Li Fuchen must have sensed that someone was approaching from afar, hence the scene earlier. What kind of person was he? In such an intense battle, he could still sense from afar. He and Duan Hai were both at the first level of the Earth realm and had neglected the commotion in the surroundings. Blood Fiend. The twin fiends of black and white rushed over. Duan Hai. Duan Shixiang. Ling Huang and Xianxia rushed over too. The commotion here was simply earth-shattering and could be clearly felt from dozens of miles away. But the entire 100 Herbs hidden domain only had a radius of 100 to 200 miles. Who was that you guys were in an intense battle just now? Black Fiend asked Blood Fiend Li Wuxia. Li Wuxia gritted his teeth. Sword Demon Li Fuchen. What? It's him? White Fiend got a shock. It's him again. Ling Huang couldn't help but take in a breath of cold air and immediately shouted, "It can't be him. He was just slightly weaker than me previously." Li Wuxia spoke coldly. He has already progressed to the 8th level of the Origin realm. His cultivation technique has also broken through to the peak of the 15th rank and produced a technique anomaly. Hearing this, Ling Huang went silent. When he fought with Li Fuchen was only at the 7th level of the Origin realm. Now that he had a breakthrough in both aspects, his ability had definitely increased. This person cannot be left alive. We have to work together to eliminate him. Xianxia spoke in a gloomy tone. We must kill him. White Fiend was also filled with murderous intent. Black Fiend said, an 8th level Origin realm martial artist is already so fearsome. Once he finds a stalk of Origin return herb and an earth-shattering fruit, it will be disastrous. Everyone will be wiped out without any suspense. Origin return herb? Not good. Li Wuxia's expression changed. What's wrong? Everyone looked at Li Wuxia, including Duan Hai. Li Wuxia almost vomited blood. There is a stalk of Origin return herb in Qi Xiaohua's storage bag. Qi Xiaohua was the Heaven Fiend sect's disciple that was killed earlier. And his storage bag was already taken by Li Fuchen. Hearing this, everyone's expression changed. We must not let him have the chance to consume the origin return herb. Li Wuxia roared. At this moment, the violent Saber sect and Heaven Fiend sect were working together. Their only thought was to kill Li Fuchen. How about adding us? From afar, another group of people arrived. They were the Spirit Hidden Sect's disciples. A total of 5. They were Young Master Spectre, Duan Muyo, Ghost Girl Yihua, Spirit Child Jiang Xiaomao, and 2 unknown Spirit Hidden Sect disciples. Within the 100 Herbs Hidden Domain, the Spirit Hidden Sect had the least casualties. This group of people appeared and disappeared unpredictably, making it hard for others to see their figures. With the arrival of the Spirit Hidden Sect disciples, almost everyone in the 100 Herbs Hidden Domain was present. Those who didn't show themselves were basically at the 9th level of the Origin Realm. They didn't dare to show themselves, and there weren't many of them. The weaker ones were basically killed, unless they were hidden well. Sure. But if you dare to play any tricks, don't blame us for being hostile. The Spirit Hidden Sect disciples had always been feared. Li Wuxia spoke coldly. Don't worry. After we kill the Azure Water Sect disciples, we will decide who is better. Young Master Spectre, Duan Muyo laughed. Ghost Girl Yihua let out a light laugh. Let's go. Chase. A group of 11 people chased after Li Fuchen's group. Li Shidi, the most important thing now is to find a concealed place to consume the Origin Return Herb. When he found out that Li Fuchen obtained a stalk of Origin Return Herb in his storage bag, Xiao Libi was extremely excited. He was even more excited than when he broke through to the first level of the Earth Realm. As long as Li Shidi progresses to the 9th level of the Origin Realm, he will definitely be able to defeat the combined forces of Li Wuxia and Duan Hai. Qin Fanghua agreed. Li Fuchen spoke calmly, they are chasing after us. Among them are Spirit Hidden Sect disciples. We need to find a place that is easy to defend and hard to attack. Among them, there were differences in speed. If it was just Li Fuchen alone, he could easily shake off the enemies behind him. My injuries are almost fully recovered. As long as I find a place that is easy to defend and hard to attack, I will give it my all. After consuming a stalk of Mystic Class, mid-tier Blood Spirit Herb, Lu Wang's injuries recovered at a rapid pace. But the medicinal effects had yet to be fully refined and was still nourishing his body. That place then. Chapter 156. A few miles was covered in a short amount of time. Halfway up the mountain, there was a cave that was 2 meters wide and tall. Looking inside, the cave was deep and dark, with no end in sight. This cave is a good place. As long as we guard the entrance, we should be able to hold them off for a moment. Xiao Libi's eyes lit up. Chen Fanghua took out her Mystic Class, low-tier shield. With this shield, we should be able to hold them off for an hour. The Mystic Class, low-tier shield was extremely sturdy. Don't even mention a first-level Earth Realm martial artist. Even a 9th-level Earth Realm martial artist would have a hard time breaking it. By pouring chi into it, it could reduce the impact by half. The cave was about 100 meters deep. In the deepest part of the cave, there was a huge space. From the claw marks on the walls, there used to be a demonic beast here, and it was a Class 3 demonic beast. I will refine the Origin Return Herb here. I will leave the rest to you guys. Li Fuchen didn't waste any time and sat down to revolve the Scarlet Mystic Flame technique. I will be the first. Lu Shidi, hurry up and recuperate. You will be the second. Xiao Libi took the Mystic Class, low-tier shield from Chen Fanghua and said to Lu Wuhuang. Lu Wuhuang nodded and sat down as well. The peak state of the 15th rank of the Scarlet Mystic Flame technique had shocking efficiency. After just a few revolutions, Li Fuchen felt a devouring force being produced. The blazing hot energy in the surroundings was like a tide, surging towards him. Taking out the Origin Return Herb, Li Fuchen swallowed it. In just a short moment, Li Wuxia and the rest caught up. They are in the cave. Let's kill our way in. The black-white twin fiends rushed into the cave first. When the two of them worked together, their strength was astounding, which was why they weren't afraid of an ambush. But just as the two of them rushed into the cave, a white miasma bomb exploded. A thick white smoke diffused, scaring the black-white twin fiends and causing them to retreat. Even if they weren't afraid of an ambush, they had to at least be able to see it. Without being able to see it, anyone would panic. Scatter! Being frightened by a white miasma bomb, the black-white twin fiends didn't look too good. White Fiend grunted and blasted a palm wind at the cave. The strong wind was like a raging dragon, sweeping up the white smoke and sending it deeper into the depths. However, in the next moment, a loud sound was heard, and the white smoke bounced back. The chaotic energy had nowhere to vent, and it carried countless crushed stones with it, rampaging toward the entrance of the cave. The black-white double ghosts were in a sorry state. Within the white mist and the chaotic chi flow, there were clearly several sword chis attacking them. If not for their quick reflexes and increased their strength, they would have been severely injured by the sword chis. Damn it. The black and white double malice were infuriated. Together they attacked the cave. Inside the cave, a large number of rocks fell down. The two energies entangled with each other, with an unstoppable force, bombarded onto the low-rank profound rank shield. Xiao Libi coughed out a mouthful of blood. He instantly suffered some internal injuries. His ability was slightly inferior to either the Black Fiend or White Fiend. With the two of them working together, even if the Mystic class, low-tier shield weakened their strength by more than half, it wasn't something he could easily defend against. On the side, Chen Fanghua and Yuan Tian stood on both sides of Xiao Libi, constantly sending out sword chi to attack the entrance of the cave. The sword chi that almost injured the black-white twin fiends was sent out by Chen Fanghua. As for Yuan Tian's sword chi, it could only be used as a support. They are stalling for time. Attack together. Blood Fiend Li Wuxia couldn't wait any longer. If Li Fuchen broke through to the 9th level of the Origin Realm, none of their sects would be a match for the Azure Water sect, unless all three sects worked together. 11 of them working together to attack the cave, it was an imposing sight. In an instant, countless saber chi forces, and spear forces were sent into the cave like a torrential storm. Rumble. A pity that the cave was too small and everyone was standing at a different angle. Before the chi forces could reach deeper, they started to collide, causing the cave to collapse. In an instant, a large amount of rocks tumbled down, blocking the entrance of the cave. The faces of Li Wuxia and the others twitched. They never expected such an outcome. They thought that the rocks within the 100 Herbs hidden domain would be countless times harder than the rocks in the outside world, and should be able to withstand a lot of force. There aren't many rocks. The three of us will be at the front. Young Master Spectre, Duan Muyo said. That's the only way. Li Wuxia nodded. The three that Duan Muyo mentioned were naturally the strongest three from the three sections. They were Mad Saber Duan Hai, Blood Fiend Li Wuxia, and himself. The three of them stood side by side, activating their chi and began to attack the rocks. PFFF, 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 PFFF. Under the assault of countless saber chi, spear forces, and palm forces, the rocks were all blasted apart, turning into a boundless amount of gravel and dust, spreading towards the interior of the cave. How could Xiao Libi and the other two withstand so many gravel? They were all constantly retreating. 15 minutes later, the tens of meters of rocks were finally blasted apart. Apart from the gravel, there were no other obstacles. Kill our way in. The cave was about 2 meters wide and could accommodate 3 people walking side by side, although it was a little cramped. Xiao Libi had no other choice but to throw all his life-saving items forward. Thunderbolt bombs, white miasma bombs, oxhair needles, all of them were thrown out. But Li Wuxia, Duan Muyo, and Duan Hai were too strong. With the three of them working together, no matter what was thrown at them, it would all be destroyed and swept away. There was no way to obstruct their advance. For a moment, the entire cave was filled with white smoke or gravel dust. Due to the fact that they couldn't expel the dust, the air quality was very poor and visibility was very low. Even after reaching the Earth realm and being able to see in the dark, it was useless. It was very chaotic. Bang! The Mystic class low-tier shield almost slipped out of his hands. Xiao Libi was sent flying by the combined attack of the three and suffered severe internal injuries. He couldn't even lift both his arms. Let me. Right at this moment, Lu Wuhuang caught up and took over the shield from Xiao Libi's hands. But Lu Wuhuang was only slightly stronger than Xiao Libi. How could he withstand the combined attack of the three and suffered severe injuries as well? A violent gale sent Chen Fanghua and Yuan Tian, who were at the back, flying, crashing into the cave where Li Fuchen was meditating. Boom! Right at this moment, a shocking spirit chi tornado erupted and gushed into Li Fuchen's body. With the Scarlet Flame Mystic Technique at the peak state of the 15th rank, Li Fuchen's speed of refining the Origin Return Herb increased by several folds. Naturally, his breakthrough time was much faster as well. With the Spirit Chi Dragon engulfing his body, Li Fuchen's cultivation level rose to the 9th level of the Origin realm. You guys have worked hard. Let me deal with them. Li Fuchen grunted and activated the Mystical Dragon Secret Technique. A technique anomaly appeared. A violent and blazing chi presence enveloped the entire cave and extended towards the cave. Meteor fall. An incomparably dazzling stream of light burst forth and shot toward the cave. Not good, he broke through. Retreat quickly. As the killing chi assaulted him, Li Wuxia brandished his spear to block. But this sword chi was too horrifying, forcing him to retreat again and again. His blood was boiling, and with the poor visibility in the cave, he couldn't see anything. Li Wuxia couldn't help but panic. Trying to leave? No way. Welcome to Legends of Cultivation, audiobooks, where we bring ancient fantasy to life through storytelling. Follow the rise of heroes who defy fate, unlock mystical powers, and battle across celestial realms. Our audiobooks are crafted for fans of Chinese cultivation novels, filled with battles, breakthroughs, and legendary artifacts. Subscribe and be part of an unforgettable journey into the realm of immortality.